New polls show almost no one trusts our media anymore. And this is very upsetting because, oh wait, good. This means we're making progress as a species. Gone are the days when the CIA secretly infiltrated American newsrooms, craftily tricking Americans into believing U.S. government propaganda was the real news. Like when we started the Vietnam War based on storm clouds in the Gulf of Tonkin, the CIA dude was in the corner of the copy room just whispering, "Say the storm clouds were heavily armed. Say the lightning looked like Charlie. Do it. Do it." Putting the CIA in every newsroom was a real project called Operation Mockingbird, and it paid mighty dividends. Carl Bernstein unveiled the scandal in 1977. The CIA admitted that at least 400 journalists and 25 large organizations around the world had secretly carried out assignments for the agency. But that was way back then. You know, nowadays the CIA and other intelligence agencies don't do anything like that. Nowadays, they never keep it a secret that they run the media. It's just up in our faces today, like bad cologne on a douchebag. It's just like, It literally says it in the lower third these days, right below their names. CIA asshole, FBI ball bag. They're just admitting to being major contributors to the media outlets. Former CIA directors, former FBI heads, former directors of national intelligence, FBI analysts, CIA officers, all paid to guide the national narrative. Cable news is like a goddamn retirement program for the CIA. It's an elder care facility for spooks. We just give them a little cup of pudding for lunch, and then we put them on national TV to tell 100 million people lies about some other country, and then after the TV, they have nap time with some sort of service animal to cuddle with. Hell, cable news' favorite heir to the oligarchy, Anderson Cooper himself, worked at the CIA in college. But I'm sure once he stopped working there, he kept no connection with the CIA. Much like former CIA head George H.W. Bush severed all CIA ties when he became president, right? No, of course not. The CIA is like being a professional wrestler. You can leave, but you're still fucked up for life. It's part of you now. You're still going to die at 53 of a brain aneurysm with your family in the trunk. It's always part of you. But this constant barrage of spies, spooks, and military personnel all over our media, along with the mainstream media getting everything wrong all the time and always bending over for corporate America, it's actually had an effect. It's had an impact. A new survey by Gallop found Americans' confidence in two facets of the news media, newspapers and television news, has fallen to all-time low points. Just 16% of U.S. adults now say they have a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in newspapers and 11% in television news. Almost 90% of Americans have no confidence in television news. And that other 11% who still believe it all, let's be honest, it's not the pick of the litter, okay? It's like the guy who thinks he can bring like an open beer onto an airplane, holding up the whole line like, "What? I just bought this." What? Or the person putting aluminum foil in the microwave at your office break room, sparks shooting off like the Chinese New Year. What happened? Be honest, 10% of the population is fucking idiots. And they're the ones watching Sean Hannity or Don Lemon and going, "Yeah, you tell him, Donnie boy. All right." Other than that, we all know better. Gallop said television news and newspapers rank nearly at the bottom of that list of institutions, with only Congress garnering less confidence from the public than TV news. Ha! Way to go, Congress! Your approval rating is just south of the approval rating for like a ravenous case of eyeball monkeypox. And for just the second time in the trend, a majority of Americans, 53%, now say they have very little or no confidence at all in TV news. I wonder why that is. Maybe it was when the WMD in Iraq story completely collapsed. Maybe it was the Afghanistan papers that revealed everything you and the government had told us about Afghanistan was false. Or maybe it was Russiagate that completely collapsed. Or maybe it was working overtime to sink the candidacy of Bernie Sanders. Or maybe it was seemingly getting every presidential election prediction wrong for decades. In Fox News' case, maybe it was acting like Biden has an open borders policy while he deports and destroys the lives of millions. Maybe it was lying us into Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Ukraine, etc., etc., etc. Or maybe it was the time you said Representative Ted Lieu grabbed a crowbar during the January 6th riot, only to reveal later that he actually grabbed an energy bar. That's some really in-depth reporting, CNN. You really knocked that out the park. Maybe it should have set off some alarm bells when he told you it was a cookies and cream crowbar. Maybe that should have been like a moment, you know? Or maybe, just maybe, it has to do with the fact that most of the media outlets are owned by the ruling class sociopaths to begin with. As Multipolarista points out, top newspaper The Washington Post, for instance, is the personal property of Jeff Bezos, the richest man on earth. And the largest shareholders of the New York Times are the two largest shadow banks in the world, Vanguard Group and BlackRock, with trillions of dollars to their name, who also happen to be the largest investors in deforestation, fossil fuels, and weapons contractors in the world. So, of course, the New York Times is not going to push too hard to stop deforestation, fossil fuels, or blowing shit up. Because then Big Papa gets on the phone and goes, "We don't like what you've been saying in your little paper. It'd be a pity if something were to happen to your stock price." And the most read newspaper in America is USA Today, which you've ever actually looked at. It's like a slightly more topical highlights magazine. But I don't mean as an insult. Highlights magazine is rad, especially the word jumble, which is actually just the front page of USA Today with a cartoon kitten in the corner. Anyway, the most read newspaper in America, USA Today, is owned by Gannett Publishing, whose largest shareholders are Vanguard and BlackRock. You probably guessed that. So our media is entirely owned by a ruling class of elite fucks who will do anything to defend their riches, which means anything to defend U.S. ownership of the world, even when it means pushing us to the brink of nuclear annihilation. But there's good news. Trust in these piece of shit media outlets is at the lowest level ever. Once we all stop falling for the fear, kill, xenophobic mentality towards other countries, we can start using all that brain space that we were using for the hate, kill. We can start using that for to create an actual sustainable, peaceful world. You know, the stuff you only think about when you find yourself on the toilet without your phone and without a highlights magazine. That's it for now, but this show is completely independently funded by people like you. We have no sponsors, no corporate media overlords. If you want to see this show keep going, become a member on Patreon, and don't forget to click subscribe. Thanks. Keep fighting.